Today on Homeworthy, prepare to be inspired by the stunning homes of fashion influencers and lifestyle experts. We'll explore the serene and airy Los Angeles retreat of Rocky Barnes, the richly layered and patterned Indianapolis residence of Coco Cuffie, the vibrant and sophisticated New York City apartment of Clare Sullivan, and the sleek, chic Arkansas home of Rochelle Johnson. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, I am Claire. Welcome to my Upper West Side apartment. I am so excited to show you around. Hi, I'm Clare Sullivan. We are here in my New York City apartment. I am a content creator and interior designer. I live here with my husband and my two dogs, Puffin and Chowder. Puffin and Chowder are both Shih Tzus. I rescued Puffin about 6 years ago, and when I got him, he was black and white, and I was like, what am I gonna name this dog? Like, I looked down and he was just so cute and looking at me like a little puffin, like he just looked like a puffin. So he became Puffin because I'm from Maine, and then I wanted a name for Chowder that would kind of go alongside Puffin, so I had my followers take a vote, and I think it was between Moody and Chowder, and we went with Chowder because they selected it. So we got this apartment in 2019. We wanted a place in the Upper West Side that was close to the trains, and we really liked the Lincoln Center neighborhood for obviously like the opera and all of the culture, and it's just super accessible and great restaurants, and we just love the neighborhood. When I first walked into the apartment, the first thing that I saw was the large row of windows that kind of lines the living room area. I had never seen anything like it in New York. And I just knew, like, from the second we walked in, this was the place. I didn't even have to look around. It could have been a pit, and I would have been like, this is it, this is it. And luckily it wasn't a pit. We had to do a lot of work, but it ended up being, I think, just right for us. I used to work for a really high-end design firm, and it always used to bother me that I'd be seeing all these beautiful things all the time. And I was like, I want that in my apartment, but I can't. That's totally inaccessible. So I kind of started just figuring out ways that I could make my apartment feel luxurious and similar to kind of the really high-end designers that you're gonna see in Architectural Digest and House Beautiful. So I kind of took it upon myself to start investigating that and coming up with little tips and tricks to create a beautiful home on a budget, because I think everyone should have access to a beautiful home that feels just like them, but also has those little luxury touches that makes it feel collected and curated and designed. So here we are in my little entryway, just walking into my apartment. I think an entryway is a really important place to start like your design and start your vibe, because it's the first thing you're gonna see when you walk into the apartment. So I like mine to be really colorful and interesting and very me. So here I have a lot of art. There is no shortage of art, and so I love to just like throw stuff on the walls. I kind of carry you in here with this diagonal sort of line through. I have my nautical stuff. I have my Matisse. We love Matisse. And most of my art is thrifted or very cheap, very affordable. I have a little tray where you can put keys. I like to have some kind of floral arrangement or greens when you walk in, just to kind of invite you in, make you feel at home. The bamboo thing was from a flea market in Maine, which there is one flea market in Maine that probably like 50% of my stuff is from. It's the Arundel Flea in Kennebunkport if you ever get up there. So I love rattan, I love bamboo. It's definitely a little bit grandma, but if you pair it with the right things, with bright colors, it's not gonna feel like that kind of 80s rattan, Miami beach house type vibe. Oh, look at him. Jody, stop it. Oh my God, see, look at that. He likes to eat my furniture. He has very good taste. So my door, I had a dream one night, and this is so bad, but this is what happens to me. I had a dream that I had a painted door, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I need a painted door because it was a really good dream. So I decided to paint the door in stripes, and I was kind of debating. I wanted to do a really bright paint color, but then because my space is so small and interconnected and you can really see everything from everywhere, so you need to make sure that you're pulling in tones that are repeated throughout the space. So I pulled in my bedroom color because it's Benjamin Moore iceberg, so it's a kind of warm blue. It's not really, it kind of looks like a gray out of context, so it's a really subtle tone. And because I was doing a bold stripe, I wanted it to be a little more on the subtle side. And yeah, it was really fun. I ended up carrying it through very impulsively to the trim, and then I added this molding from Amazon. It's just stick on. And so I carried it through that way just to add a little bit more color in here and interest. Here we kind of have this open area, definitely not a big space, but it is what I would call a dead space. It's an area where there's not much functional use besides walking, and that's why I decided to put this entryway table here. It's a kind of table that you see in like big houses in the entryway, but I thought, you know what, just because my apartment's small doesn't mean I can't have a fabulous entryway table. So I got this table, it was just some kind of cheap find on Amazon. And then this beautiful tablecloth is by my aunt's company, Mary Marshmallow. And the fun thing about this table is that if you're like me and you have a lot of stuff that you like to decorate and switch up all the time, like I just love arranging stuff, I love kind of switching things around, it's a great place for that. So taking all of your favorite things and kind of putting them on this table, it's a little bit of an organized chaos. I create a little grid of books, books that you think are pretty, books that you think are funny. I just think this book is hilarious. I don't understand it. I just think it's ironic because we love women. And I think it's funny. I like little things that make people talk. I like things that are a little more interesting, make people go, what? I think that's a fun way to decorate. My style is eclectic. It's bright. Some would say preppy. I don't really know how to describe it. Some people say grand millennial. I use a lot of blues, it's my favorite color, and I love like neutral tones and wickers, natural textures, and also kind of combining that with really bright pops of pink and green and blue and pastel colors. So I think it's really fun and happy and artistic, and I like to feel uplifted in my home, not brought down by dark tones, and so yeah, I really like my bright colors. It's always great to put a really big arrangement, so a great place for an arrangement that has a lot of height because there's kind of nothing around it, like it's, you know, it's not obstructing the eye in any way. This area is actually my desk, and it's very dressed up right now for you guys, and it's kind of what it looks like when I'm entertaining. So underneath here is just my regular desk where I do my work. If you get a great tablecloth that you love, bring it out when you're entertaining, and it kind of transforms into a serving space or a bar, something like that. Really fun. I just lay out glasses that I love and just create just a little space, like a little vignette. I love vignettes. These were a find, thrifted find, as is like all of my art. This was one of, I think, like 2 splurges, I would say, in my apartment. Custom framing is crazy expensive, but sometimes it can be worth it. This was my first project, and I was so excited about it that I wanted it to be framed and up on my wall as kind of like a you did it, good job kind of thing that I can look at every day and just be proud of myself. I love bamboo. I love bamboo gold frames. It was Cynthia from Collins Interiors, who I'm obsessed with, saying that if you group things together that are similar, it has a much greater impact than spreading them throughout the house. And that stuck with me, and I think I've just been kind of like having that in the back of my head as I've been decorating. So I grouped all of these gold bamboo frames together instead of bringing this somewhere else. And something about it is so impactful and creates like such an impression, and I really love that. So the apartment was built in the 1960s, and we found it in 2020, and it took about 8 months to renovate. We touched it up. We didn't have to do much besides the kitchen and bath. The rest was mostly just cosmetic. These floors were here. And really what I did was fill it up with myself. I feel like everything in here is just me. I love color. I love layering textures and patterns, but also keeping a lot of brightness and lightness is kind of my style. So it's a little bit of fresh, it's a little bit eclectic, and everything is on a budget. So the only thing I splurged on was my bedding pretty much. So you'll notice like I do a lot of little hacks, a lot of little things that make this feel a lot more luxury, I think, than it really cost. So we are now in my really kind of comfy living room area. My living room is divided into 2 sections because when we moved in, we realized we had this really large horizontal area. So we ended up dividing it into 2 spaces. One is fully functional. I sit here every night. We were watching The Crown last night. So cozy. I love it in here. I think a sectional is really important if you are furnishing your living room or a place that you want to be reclining and comfy. I love a sectional. And I love a white sectional, even though we have dogs. I don't really care. It's filthy. Don't look too close. Well, if we were to have a dinner party, which we do, and we actually do this, this becomes our dining room table. So just like the desk is kind of multifunctional, again, this is small space living here. We pull the tablecloth off, that's our desk. We pull the tablecloth off and take the stuff off and it becomes our dining table. And then we have these kind of occasional chairs that are really dining chairs, and we have 2 more that we tuck away in our closet. They're great because they're actually comfortable. I think they're very attractive. They are dining chairs. I think it's important when you're living in a small space to choose furniture that can be really multifunctional. Funny story on the window treatments, they're actually my first major mess up. Probably my first like design experience that was really a learning lesson. As you can see, they are not sized right. So it was one of my first times like taking real measurements for something to be custom made, and I just completely messed it up. I don't know what I did, but basically the fabric is hand block printed in India. It's beautiful fabric. It's from my aunt's line, Mary Marshmallow, and she had some surplus fabric that I was like, I'm taking this. So I kind of kidnapped the fabric from Florida and had it custom made into these Roman shades. And I love them. Because this area is so expansive and big, I wanted something that was gonna feel like a moment. I wanted it to feel like artwork. I did not want just like white curtains that was gonna wash this area out, because we don't have a lot of wall space in this area because of the window. So you want something really interesting and beautiful to look at. So the Roman shades, they pull down at night and they create these beautiful panels that, to me, it's almost like art. Because they're sheer, that wasn't an issue. It's fine to be sheer, but I did want the privacy of them. So the Roman shade is a really good option, and they're really easy to bring up and down. I would say if it's one of your first custom fabric projects, I think this is a good way to go. I think everyone should have them. They're just so pretty and easy. And this area is, I like to think of it more of a conversation area. If I have friends over, because of the setup of the room, it's really easy to sit and talk and chat and like have appetizers, have drinks. My husband and I sit here and catch up like when he comes home from work. If we're going out, we'll have a cocktail here before together. And I just love a room that's kind of set up for conversation versus entertainment and watching TV, because it's not something that you find a lot anymore. Usually rooms are, especially living rooms, are designed around the TV. And so I wanted a space that was going to be designed around conversation and connection. My pink couch has been in my family for years. I think my mom got it probably in the 90s. It was this brand called Maine Cottage Furniture. She came to college parties with me. She came to the East Village with me. She came Upper East Side with me. I mean, she's been everywhere. I love her so much, and I'm telling you, she's so comfortable. Like, they don't make couches that are this comfortable anymore. It's also really hard to find a bench seat. So it makes for a really good place for guests to just crash on. My brother slept on this couch so many times at our old apartment. Yeah, and so basically when I was thinking about this space, I knew the pink couch could not go. I will never get rid of her. So I started pulling colors from the pink couch with the pillows. This is my little pillow line, and just pulling in really fun colors and then kind of trying to connect it with the blue that's found throughout the rest of the space. So tying in blues and pinks, and then kind of capping it off with little punches of green. So this is my needlepoint pillow. It says, "Been shopping for years and still have nothing to wear," which is just like me. I just love like old school needlepoint pillows. I feel like they say so much about you. This wall has been like the Odyssey, and I am Odysseus. It is just the never-ending journey. It started as a beautiful white wall, and then I put wallpaper up, and then I couldn't stand the wallpaper, and then I painted it green, and then I couldn't stand the green, and I settled on this. And this is our final thing. We are not changing it. One, I promised my husband I'm never changing it again because he's fed up with me, but also because I like it. I think it looks really good. I ended up doing a horizontal stripe. I wanted to emphasize the horizontal nature of the room and kind of make it appear more expansive. Because our wall of windows is so long this way, this area was feeling a little bit cramped, and I wanted to find a way that would kind of stretch it out and make it appear visually bigger. So yeah, we ended up using a ton of painter's tape, rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. And it was very painstaking. I'm not gonna say this was easy, but I will say it was worth it, and it kind of packs a punch. Feels a little bit like wallpaper, but a little bit like something else, and I think it ties the apartment together really well with all of the different tones of blue. I collect these little sailor's boxes. I love just how unique they all are, and just adorned with shells. You can find these at thrift stores. They're usually $10. You should never pay more than like $12 for one. But I love collecting things, and I love kind of grouping them together and giving that little like interesting kind of feel, an eclectic feel. Yeah, and then I just kind of decorate with whatever I have. My friend got me these napkins, which I think were very me. So cute. We have hair of the dog, just a sippo from a hippo. Okay, so the green elephant. I'm in love with Mr. Elephant. I Saw him at an auction in Maine a few years ago, and it was kind of, I think it was in September. And I told my parents, oh my God, I want that elephant. Like, I love that elephant. I hadn't seen one that looked like this in this color. And they're so cute. They remembered that I wanted the elephant. And my dad surprised me with it on my birthday, which was so sweet. He loves antiques. I love antiques. And I feel like that's where we really bond. So a bunch of this stuff is stuff that he's bought and then kind of put it in storage. And then I found it again and kind of resurfaced it. I don't know. I think antiques are a really great way to connect with your family and friends who love them. It's just kind of like an unspoken thing that you both love. This table is another piece that has just, I think my mom got it probably in the 80s or 90s. And it's the same brand as this. It's Maine Cottage. It is so dinged up, but the shape of it and how narrow it is just so perfect for a New York apartment. And I've had it for years and I'll never get rid of it because I think the size is amazing. And I kind of like that it's dinged up. I mean, I really don't mind that. I think it kind of adds character, So I really wanted a serving bar that felt very fancy, but they were also expensive. So I was like, what can I do to make a bar feel really custom to me on a budget? So you can order these cane sheets on Amazon or anywhere, and then you just buy a cheap piece of furniture, very low cost, and you stick it behind with a staple gun. And what you can do is open it up, and I actually installed lights, and I have this little remote control, and so you can turn it on, and then you get this kind of illuminated party bar, which has been quite the hit at parties, and just, I have so much fun styling it. I've been big on the espresso martinis lately, so this is my little espresso martini shelf. I have my coffee maker in here where I can make my espresso, and then we have our fancy cups for those. Yeah, and we just have a bunch of fun with it, and it's a good way to kind of shut everything away, because sometimes bottles are a little bit unsightly, so it's nice to be able to shut the door on them, but also have the light come through, and you're able to conceal, but also have this kind of visually interesting little caning, which looks really expensive and custom. So this is my kitchen. This was the really major renovation part of the project. The kitchen was from 1960 and it was all closed off. So this area right here was a doorway and it was closed off with a door. Then your wall continued around here to the end. So there was really no kind of openings, there was no way to get in and out. And I wanted to kind of honor the time period that the apartment was built in, so I didn't want to take all of the walls down because I really felt that it was important to have a kitchen that felt semi-removed from the rest of the space because it is a smaller space. So we ended up doing this half wall here, which will add room for just 2 seats for me and my husband, our little breakfast bar. And I always say like, oh, it's gonna be so perfect for dinner. And then of course, we never eat here. We always sit on the couch and watch a movie and eat, which I'm sure a lot of you do too. It used to have a wall oven where the fridge is. The oven was the coolest thing. Like I was sad to see it go, but it was non-functioning. It was probably from like 1950, but it was really cool to see. So the oven was here. We ended up changing the location of everything just so that we had everything really accessible. So we had sink, dishwasher, trash, oven, and fridge. So I can basically just cook like this, which is the beauty of a small kitchen, I guess. So this tile, when we started the project, this was the one thing that I knew I wanted herringbone tile. It's something I've always dreamed of. I think it's so beautiful and special, and it's a little bit glamorous, and you don't see it every day. So this was something I really knew I wanted, was a marble backsplash using herringbone, and so I really loved how that came out. And then we just used a white quartz that was going to be really easy to wipe down and clean, and adds brightness because it is kind of open to the rest of the space. I didn't want anything too bold or dramatic that was going to kind of distract the eye. I wanted it all to blend together. I don't keep it too tidy and clean every day. I mean, you are walking in on a good day. I cleaned for you. I will show you. I like organizing, and organizing is kind of my job on TikTok. So I'll show you. This is my pasta cabinet. And this is my pride and joy. It is where I keep all my pasta because I don't really cook that often. We go out to dinner way too much, but if I am gonna cook, I definitely am making pasta. So I decided I was gonna dedicate one cabinet to just pasta things. So I have these beautiful pastas that I found at the grocery store. We have different kinds down here, and then I keep the sauces here. It excites me every time I open this up, and I am such a freak about design that I like even the insides to look really good and pretty and fun. I love hostessing. I love just like making people feel good. It's like my number one, I think, passion in life besides TikToking. So I love to get these little, I love to make these beautiful cookies for people. Just kidding. I did not make them, but I had them made for you for coming to visit my home. I'm so excited that you're here.
These are so cute.
Okay, so these are from a company in Florida and it's called Southern Home Bakery. And oh yeah, they're based out of Orlando, but you can order them from anywhere in the United States, and she ships them like very quickly. And you can get anyone's logo on it. You can get anything custom made. I got them with my logo on it. I thought it was the funnest thing in the world. Yeah, so cute, and their package is so cute. I think it's really important to make people feel welcome, especially when they're coming into your home. So whenever someone's coming over, I try to do a little something just to make them feel welcomed and happy and comfortable in here, because it's my favorite place to be. I want everyone to feel the same way. Because we're in Manhattan and storage is an issue, I have a lot of accessories and stuff for my dogs that I needed a spot for, so I found this little thing, and what I like about it is the design is very simplistic, very modern, minimal, and usually I don't like minimal, but I wanted it to blend in with the rest of my kitchen. And the cool thing about this is that it rotates out, and this is where I store all of the stuff for my dogs. It's kind of a mess, but basically I have their little coats hooked onto command strips here that I just grab for them when they need it. And yeah, and then you can kind of just tuck it away. So if you are having a space issue, I recommend something like this on wheels that you can kind of rotate in and out, and it kind of just hides. It kind of is concealed with all the white. This is my little Hermes poop bag carrier, because everyone needs a glamorous poop bag holder, right? And I love it. It basically hinges on here. And so you really have the nice hardware and everything, because they are just as fancy as me. They're actually more fancy than me, because I would never have this. Yeah, so cute. So I'm just gonna be putting together some roses, and we were laughing because this is my little tape trick, and it's actually been through the dishwasher like this. So I kind of lay out the tape and kind of put it over the vase so that I can support the flowers, and then I just threw it in the dishwasher. I kind of forgot the tape was on it, and it came out like this. So it's a trick that lasts. So very exciting. Yeah, so when I have roses, I like to cut them lower rather than higher. I take all the leaves off. You want to make sure that they're cut at a 45-degree angle. It helps them soak up the water and stay fresh for longer. I'm constantly arranging flowers on TikTok. It is my favorite thing to do. Yeah, you can definitely get roses at your local grocery store, and they are way less expensive than going to like a high-end florist. Okay, so right now what I'm doing, it sounds very fancy. It's called European hand arranging, but essentially what I'm doing is laying one on top of the other, so it creates this kind of spiral in the center so that it'll fall really nicely within the vase. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of, I always use the edge of the countertop, and I do this. I wanna see where they're gonna fall within the vase. So I kind of want them to be pretty low today. I think when you arrange your roses low, it makes them feel a lot fuller, rather than when they're really high. They just feel a little bit too stringy, if that makes sense. So I like to keep them kind of low. And then this little twist here should keep them pretty secure, and it really helps to have the little tape in the middle. So now I'm just gonna trim them at this height here. I'm gonna remember where they are, kind of around here. So then I'm gonna trim them all at a 45-degree angle. This is so funny. This is what my content just is in general. So again, to show you that European hand arranging, you put one here, and then you just kind of keep layering on top diagonally to create a shape that looks like this. And then it'll create a little whirlwind effect that looks really pretty inside of your vase. And you can kind of see they're creating this little bouquet effect just naturally, which is really nice. And you're just gonna tuck it in to your little hole in the center with the tape, and you're kind of let it in, this, pat them down, get them all in there. So then you just have your little squat arrangement that feels really full and luscious, even though it's just a dozen roses. Here we are in my bedroom, where I have everything blue. I wanted my bedroom to feel very me, and my favorite color is blue. So like I said, this is where I splurged. I think something about these custom monogram pillows is just like so luxury. You always see it in those really fancy homes on the Homeworthy channel, I'm sure. And so these are from Etsy, and they were hand embroidered in India. You can pick your color, you can pick your initials, and I am just obsessed. I think they just tie everything together. They make it feel so fancy and fun. Yeah, it's a king size bed. So you wanna make sure that your pillows are really like full and supple. I hate that word, but like you wanna make sure that your pillows are really filling up your bed. I use 2 king size kind of standard pillows behind, and then when it comes to a king, if you have a queen, you don't need to do this and it probably won't fit. You're gonna wanna do 3 Euro shams with your king, and that way it feels really full and fancy and kind of extra. And then doing a couple throw pillows in front just to add a little something something. So this color on the wall is Benjamin Moore Iceberg. It's definitely my go-to blue because it's almost bordering on a neutral. I feel like when it comes to picking out colors, it's really easy to be like, go for the really saturated, fun ones. But I think picking colors that are basically an off gray or an off white is what you really want to do. So this is kind of an off blue, Benjamin Moore Iceberg. I ended up ordering these molding pieces from Amazon and just painting them the same color, and then you just stick them on the wall with command strips and you get this kind of like fancy molding look. So all of these images are from the public domain, and that essentially means that they're really, really affordable. You just go on Google and you type in public domain artwork and then whatever you want. Maybe you want like a vintage tiger or botanical drawing. And up will pop different libraries of public domain images, which means they're copyright free and anyone can download them and anyone can have access to them. So you download your image and then just get it printed. I get mine printed at FedEx, and I think for all of these it was just $3. Very, very affordable way to get really fun artwork that feels like just like what you want. We're just the best little boy in the world, yeah. This bureau my parents had hand painted for me by like a family friend when I was a baby, and so it was in my room as a baby, and then kind of like the pink couch, it came with me to my first apartment in New York and just stayed with me ever since. So she has seen the best of times, the worst of times. She looks like a little baby chest, but I can't get rid of her. And now she's housing all of my husband's boxers and socks, and I think that's hilarious. So I love her. She's, you know, exquisite, and one day hopefully we'll have a kid and it'll go in the kids' nursery. So this wall here is my little gallery wall. I have a million gallery walls throughout this apartment. And this one is really fun because this is my frame TV. I decided to build off of it to create a look that didn't really feel like a TV. I never had a TV in my bedroom growing up, and I always felt like it was kind of a bad thing, kind of a guilty thing, a little guilty pleasure. So I wanted to conceal it a little bit. So I added in a bunch of just my artwork and printed it out from FedEx, so cheap, like everything in this apartment, super budget. And then just got the frames on Amazon, created this kind of vignette over here. Here, I like having this console table underneath. I like to hide my cords as best as I can. So what I did here was I have all of my kind of blue and white stuff here, and I have this pot, and I ended up putting the cord, I kind of hid the cord inside of the pot, and I think if you have access to a pot, there you go. This is Target, very, very, very cheap, but you know, kind of has that elevated look, kind of like that burlwood look. This is just a piece that I got in Palm Beach, really cute Italian. I love lettuceware. I hadn't seen that color, so I had to spring on that. And then I love blue and white chinoiserie, big fan of that, and I like to put it all together to create kind of the biggest pop. And yeah, I really love symmetry. And again, when you're talking about doing things on a budget, like easy ways to make things feel well designed is to focus on symmetry. So this is all extremely cheap stuff. And I took these two kind of column dressers and put them on either side of the window to create a symmetrical feeling. And then this dresser was just a hand-me-down from my friend who's also a designer, and it came from Atlanta. Beautiful piece. That's the thing, I feel like when you're friends with designers and people that are into artwork, it's good to just kind of switch off your stuff because you get sick of things. Someone else is gonna like it and appreciate it if it's a good quality item. And then this is our little like wedding shrine. I felt like I needed a little place to put all the stuff from our wedding. I'm still wanna like relive it every single day. So we have our little chest here, which is so beautiful and has our new initials on it. And then I feel like if you've gotten married or you're excited to get married, you understand this, like you just wanna keep reliving it and preserving all your stuff and showing it off. And this trunk is really nice because you can shut it or you can kind of have it out on display. So welcome to the smallest room in my apartment, but also my favorite room. This is my bathroom, and when we were designing the space, I knew that I wanted this room to just feel like my zen escape. I wanted it to feel like I was in a spa. I wanted it to be like the most relaxing room in the whole world. And I really achieved that. It's my favorite place in the world. Like I would rather be here than out at a bar, restaurant, whatever. This is my safe space. Essentially, this was the second largest project that we had to work on in the apartment. We ended up having to take out, there was a really old tub. There's a very strange little built-in wall trash can that was fully non-functional. I don't know, I think it's like a thing in these apartments. So we took that out. So I love the look of a slab shower where it's just one big block of marble. I think that's so fancy. And I wanted to achieve a look like that, but on a budget. So what we did was these marble tiles, they are Carrara marble, and they are really large scale, so they kind of achieve a look that feels a little bit like that, but of course at a fraction of the price. And this room has just become my Zen room. I love it. We did a classic basket weave on the floor. I really wanted something that was gonna feel old and kind of in reference to the age of the space, but also just feel classic and timeless. For this one, I wanted something that felt a little bit more glamorous, a little more feminine, refined, so I went with a polished nickel, and I'm really happy I did that because I have brass in a lot of areas of my house, but this feels very fancy and unique to my bathroom, and I'm really happy I made that decision. My favorite thing about this apartment is the expanse of windows that kind of lines the living room area. When I walked in, I was like, what is, like, it is absolutely, you don't see that a lot. And so that's why I really wanted to spring on this apartment. It really elongates the sitting area, and it's just really special. To me, the word home means safety. It means being enveloped by all of your favorite things, your favorite decor, your favorite people. I feel like the world can be really harsh, and especially now, it's really important to create an environment where you feel safe and supported and loved. And I think you can do that with decor by pulling in things that really feel like you and that make you feel special.
Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting the colorful and collected Indianapolis home of decor stylist and content creator Coco Cuffie. A flea market enthusiast who trained her eye while working at Art House, Coco has layered her space with out-of-the-box art and textiles that simultaneously feel both playful and soothing. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Well, hello, Homeworthy. I'm Coco Cuffie, and welcome to my home. Welcome to my entryway, where all the magic is at the beginning of the home. This is where, when you walk in, I want you to feel the whole wow factor, and I want you to feel like you know you are in the right place. I love the lady on the wall. The art is called Portrait. I got this from Our House Furniture. And in the evenings, I'll turn on my art lamp, and she just exudes beauty. And then with the zebra wallpaper and the bright yellow, I thought that would just add a pop of sunshine, because I also decided to paint the ceiling black. So sometimes this space can feel a little dark, but with all the lighting and things like that, it makes it still feel grand. My mask, this guy has a whole smile on his face, and I absolutely love him because he smiles at you every morning, and he smiles at you when you come home in the evening. And I just think, you know, what a way to walk into your home or exit your home with someone giving you a nice smile. Also, in my entryway, I have the bone inlay chairs that were also a find from work, and they are one-of-a-kind pieces. They're sisters, not twins, just based on the fact that they're handcrafted and very, very unique. Also, the greenery in the entryway, the large scale mirror, got a little bump and bruise, but it's still serving its purpose. I absolutely love the grandiose of the mirror. And then my zebra print that also embodies the zebras on the wall. So greenery and textured vase that also brings in more color, and a nice fun runner. And this is my entryway. We have been in the home since January 2024. And what sold me on this space was the fact that when you came in the front door, there was a sense of peace and calming. And what I loved about the flow of the home. It's not just a normal ranch, because from the outside, it looks like it is a very small home, but to have over 2,700 square feet and 3 full bathrooms and a family area and your sleeping area separated allows you to still be able to move about the home and have great function. So I just fell in love with the space. And when we walked in, we knew automatically this is the one. So join me in my living room where texture, color, and elements are above and beyond. So in my living room, I love the Afro chic theme of the textured sofa, the wood elements on the chair, the play of color with the pillows, and still working in the vein of mask, but having the bust, and then a light fixture that is also a bust of a man with a brass shade on top as well. And my rice goddess in the corner that is praying and keeping the place at peace. This room also embodies all my coffee table books, and this bust here, I absolutely love her, but I've given her some additions to her being more fabulous than she is by giving her glasses and her beads. And then also my drum and Buddhas. And then I also even have a drum that's hanging on the wall. So I just love collecting things that I find when I'm out antiquing and vintage shopping. I love a good flea market. And so you find things that, you know, make a nice statement to have a flow. These little guys are candles. Like, it's a whole elephant. How cool is that guy? And then another one, a whole candle. Who knew? So I would be remiss if I did not have a Chanel book for a coffee table book. I have my iconic home and also the Afro chic and hashtag goals. So stay tuned for a off the cuff coffee table book that will show you steps and stages of the transformation of my home, because this was a blank canvas, and I walked in and knew that this house was ready for color and texture. So David Ballum is an African artist that we also sell at our house, and I fell in love with his artistry. He is all things as far as just capturing the elements of the African genre. And I just think it is just simply gorgeous based on all the jewelry that the lady is wearing, hence Coco. So some other pieces in the room are my green thumb trying to flourish and keeping things alive is where I reside right now because I'm not growing hair anymore. So let's grow plants. So different little statues and fixtures I absolutely love. And then another aspect of mask. And these guys were gifted to me. Never thought I would ever use them. But then all of a sudden they have a home. So just embodying all the things that I love in one space, but still keeping it seamless to where it's not overkill or looking as if I'm trying too hard. I just love to make things have a nice home. So working at our house was a challenge for myself because I was a hairstylist for over 30 years, and to be able to transition into a new love of all things decor. Our house to me was the catapult that gave me the confidence that I can do this. So going there, their aesthetic is more clean lines and neutrals and things like that. But it also still showed me that with those foundational pieces, I could still be who I am. So like I said, this sofa is our house piece, but to add the fabric on it that just exudes all the things that I love as far as texture and play on color and things like that. This is the element in the lane that I'm in. Being able to use my platform on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to show that, it's a gift to be able to share the things that I learn. And I just get a whole rush out of just decorating and being able to make changes on things around my home. So my wine bar can be a little deceiving. One would think it might just be a cabinet, but the beauty of it is these doors open up to where you can keep your wine glasses and your bottles of wine. It has all the cubby holes in, so you can just slide your wine bottles in. And I just think it's very, very unique. This is also another play on the bone inlay. This piece is very, very heavy. So it's not just a fly by night, slide it here, slide it there. It has to have a home. And I thought it would be a really good anchor for being in front of the window. And with this space not having a TV, this is where we just kind of come and sit, have conversation, and just kind of let our hair down and just relax in this space. Along with having the different mud cloths on the pillows and adding different textures, because this is almost like a jute fabric, but very, very unique. The throw blanket, I kind of just felt like I wanted something very African inspired. And then when I got real close to it, those look like seas. How cool is that? So everything just kind of will manifest and come into its own, but you got to step out there and just give yourself the grace and the permission to just go for it. It can be changed. It's paint. If you don't like it, paint it another color and just keep embracing it, because it is a marathon, not a sprint. Welcome to my dining room, where I have a lot of visual stimulation, but calmness at the same time. So I have a vintage chair that is an heirloom in my family, where all my aunts had one, and it was 4 of them. So they split up the set and they shared them. And so my favorite aunt passed away, and she gave me her chair. And so every home that I've had, this chair travels with me. I've even taken it to the salon as decor to just sit in a little corner, but you better not sit on it. It is for show, and it is tradition, and I absolutely love this chair. This guy here on the wall, I found him at an antique store on the south side, and I left him in all of his rustic glory, because I feel like there is a story behind the fact that he has looked traveled. So sticks and vases. This little guy here is also another version of a mask, and you don't always have to hang them on the wall, because this guy also could sit on the floor, but I decided to put him on the wall. And my sconces are a work in progress right now, because I added the piping to cover the cords. So once I get that paintbrush back out, I'm going to melt that color to match the wall color. But these are also a find from our house, and they are exquisite and very heavy, so they have to be mounted the correct way. Also, there is this wonderful piece of art that says thanks and praises, and it's women dancing and just rejoicing and being happy, and that I love to exemplify in the dining space. But the unique thing about this is I got it at Thrifty Threads and it was $7. And once I got home, I Googled, and this guy is starting at like $3.50. So score. Okay. This dude here, yes, and all this hair glory was gifted to me because if you speak things, things will come to fruition. So I'm at work, minding my business. I'm talking about my love of mask. And my coworker said, "Oh, mask? You like mask?" I was like, "Yeah, you know that I like mask." And she says, "Well, I've got a friend of mine that wants to get rid of some masks because she's changing her aesthetic." And I was like, "What?" And an hour later, the lady shows up and she opens her trunk and there are all these masks from travels that she had gone on. And she says to me, "Coco, as long as you don't sell them, you can have them." What? Who does that? This was one of the guys that was gifted to me, and it was a blessing because I just did not know where I was going to find all the unique masks that I wanted for my space. But lo and behold, spoke it and they came about. Dining table setting. A lot of people do not set their tables anymore. I don't know why, because I enjoy setting the table. I think it just adds character to your dining space, and to be able to dress the table as if you would dress yourself, So putting on your foundation, once again, you have to adorn it with things that look pleasing. So I've got the napkin rings that kind of do more of an Asian inspiration, but when you're playing with color, all those kind of things kind of melt together and it's fine. If you like it, it works. This guy was an our house find, and I went to the hardware store and found the embellishment for the ceiling and was able to spray paint it and match it to this guy so it still looks as aged as the light fixture, but it is a new piece. This lady here is a gift from a family member that knew that I had started my collecting of all things African inspired. And so I received that, and I think she's perfect there to kind of just watch over the place. Also, I have a giant mirror on the wall that is brass, and you can never have too much lighting. So a corner lamp, as well as the large round mirror that kind of looks like a sunburst in a sense. And the nice corner here, we have another antique find. This chair I actually found at a Goodwill, and I just polished it up and kept it going and added some cushions and pillows and texture once again. These guys here are from thrifting. They look like they've been around for quite some time because they're shadow boxed. So very unique. This piece was framed by me. I found a frame from the Goodwill and opened up the back and put this lady on the inside of it. And I thought that that was a nice touch for that to be a nice element on the wall. This space is kind of more like a pass-through. We have not been able to have a dinner party in here as of yet because the parties that we have had since we've moved in January are in the family room or everybody standing around in the kitchen. So the kitchen is the heart of the home, and I don't care how elaborate I decorate a space, everyone gravitates to the kitchen. Welcome to the heart of the home. This is my kitchen. I am still working on some things in the kitchen, but the biggest thing in here that sold me was the wonderful fireplace. It needed a little love, so I just decided to paint the mantle, but futuristically I will add some tile to the hearth of the fireplace. But with this, these paintings here were my dad's. He was a collector of trains, Lionel trains, and found these in the basement at my mom's house. And I thought, oh my goodness, these are all of everything, because they speak to me based on the love that I have for my dad. But then after I laid them on the fireplace, I looked at them really good and I thought, one looks like me and one looks like my husband, and we are the locomotives that run this house. So I just love the artwork and the fact that I can still bring some love in from my dad. The fireplace was the perfect place to put him there. This 9-piece antique mirror situation here is the branches of a tree that connect. This was a little challenging to hang. And although they are not perfect, they are perfect. So I stuck with it, and that's where they are. And I absolutely love them on the dark wall. And it was what this wall needed, was this pop of the antique mirror, along with bench seating and this chair and a half next to the fireplace is a nice little cozy spot to have a seat. And I've got bar stools that are in the Krypton fabric, which means easy to clean. And their coloring of the legs is a new color. Most bar stools have the black or the light color, but this is like a cinder color, which I thought would be a very good color to add some warmth into the kitchen. The islands when I bought the house were sky blue, and there was no way I was going to be able to incorporate sky blue into the aesthetic of this home. So temporarily, I found a paint that would go over countertops. And so I got busy, and it's actually a dark green, and some lights it looks black. But it is a temporary fix for me for now, with the goal to turn this into probably a quartz or granite countertop, and then adding a range hood from the ceiling, or one that comes up from the back of the stove. We will see. Stay tuned for that. So, but yes, to sit here at the island while I cook, because I do love to cook, and I've got a couple dishes that people just request, because not only is Coco a home decor person, I can comb your hair, I can cook for you, I can dress you, all of those things, but it starts in the kitchen. So let's feed you and get you happy. Also in the kitchen, we have our bar area, and I'm going to cut these out and add glass so you'll be able to see the wonderful spirits that are in there. And then on this side, we'll do the same thing. And then lo and behold, here are some more masks on the wall here. And then my cookbook, my Lazy Susan for my spices. And I like to go and get my fresh flowers for the week and do floral arrangements throughout the home, just to add some more freshness to the decor. And my backsplash was something that was added as well, to give more texture into the home. And the sink we dropped in and did as well. So just working on some things, but it's nice and cozy. And I added lighting that were originally just some can lights there. So I dropped those down, and then also hanging my cutting boards on the wall, just to add another element. Very intentional design for having people feel welcome into the kitchen. I'm not a fan of the stark white kitchens just because it doesn't give the feel of being able to just come in and hang out. So I love the fact that when we're entertaining, I usually have to kick people out of the kitchen in order to get them to where they need to go and relax and eat and things like that. But I do love the fact that everybody wants to be in the kitchen. So the family room, when I purchased the home, did not have these doors. These doors were sitting in the garage, and I thought, what do they go to? And then it hit me. They go to the entryway of the family room. So I love the fact that they are see-through, where you can still close off the kitchen's portion and then still have a sense of privacy in the family room, just in case you are having an event and they're a little loud and you don't want to have that in the kitchen area. So join me into the family room, where I have a nice sectional seating that is a white sofa that most people are scared of. But when you purchase Krypton fabric, you have a life. It's water, clear detergent, and everything goes away. This sofa has experienced red wine, thanks to my husband, and there is no evidence that it was there, and he is still alive. This is a rocker swivel. That is the chair that everyone fights over when they come into this space, because this chair is a little slice of heaven, because it is very calming to sit. I also have another antique find. This chair here is a work in progress as well. I got this chair for all of $25, and I could not believe the tag that was on it. So my goal is to reupholster the seat cushion and add the fabric that is also the fabric that's on my sofa in the living room. Family photos and art TV, just to add another element of artwork without the commitment of art. Family photos on the wall as well, with a pop of mask. And these were the old school ceiling fans when we first purchased the home. And I was able to modernize these guys with this caged ceiling fan option. And they really brought the space to life. Even though the ceilings are a little lower in here, it doesn't feel like you are crammed into one space. Also, this room is another space for dining. So whereas we have the formal dining room, this is also a place where you can eat and just kind of not worry about spills and decor and things like that. So it's more open and spacious. I have one of my custom pieces that my upholstery lady has so fittingly done for me over the years. She took my vision and made it come to life, where we have the mink seat cushion and the leopard here, and then on the back of this guy is leather. So this chair is really doing the most, but I love it. And more lighting. We have, this is a light fixture that came from our house as well, but I was not crazy about the glass globe because it meant cleaning. So I visited a local box store, and I was able to purchase this and added it to the light fixture, and it transitioned the light to a whole new life. And I love it. Absolutely love it. So once again, seating is not an issue in this space because this is where the family entertains. So we've got the pub table with 4 counter height chairs that are leather. And then family photos in that corner as well. So this room is definitely a space where you can just fall back and let your hair down. So the ability to layer is, I guess, almost a gift, because I do it without even thinking. But the one thing that I do love about layering, you can take away and you can add to. Having things that are cohesive allow you to move them throughout your home and reuse things. So sometimes being able to shop your own space by just refreshing and moving something to a new home makes your house continuously feel warm and fuzzy, shall I say. So also, this mirror here weighs probably about 200 pounds. It is a whole human being, and it took several human beings to put it on the wall, but I just love the woodwork that's on it, and it is a great statement piece that actually is a good marriage with the pub table as far as the wood that is in the center of that guy. And then I have a storage ottoman that keeps extra blankets and pillows and things like that. And then the play on layering, once again, I have a hide rug under the table that also adds more texture to the room. So I also have a wood burning stove that was original to this space being added, because I'm almost sure that this was an addition to the home, but it also gave the house more square footage. We have not yet used this guy, but looking forward to it this winter coming up for the holidays, and being able to put a nice, beautiful Christmas tree here on the side and just kind of look at the snow outside with all the windows that embody the whole back side of the house. Follow me to our primary bedroom where I was told that the room looks yummy. Let's see what your thoughts are. So welcome to my primary bedroom, where once again, I am not scared of color. This color is by Sherman Williams, and it is called Frambosa. And I saw the color and thought, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. The purple chair and a halves were designed by my upholstery lady, and she and I have been rocking since 2006. We met on a humble because someone that was supposed to do some work for me ran off with my fabric, and the ladies at the fabric store gave me Spring's name, and every place I've been has a little sprinkle of spring in it. And these chair and a halves, I almost reached out to her to have her redo them when we got the home. And I'm like, wait a minute, purple is such a dominant color and a royal color. I'm not changing these chairs. I'm going to leave them in their purple passion and build off of it. And I love a good jewel tone combination. So to do the color melting with the purple drapes and then adding the pop of color on the pillows just really makes this room feel nice and cozy for me and my hubby. And we absolutely enjoy the journey that is going on throughout the home. So this bed is a new design that has more of a curve than square headboard. And then the art on the wall, bringing in more flowers, was something that just warmed me up. And my cheetah lamps with the velvet lampshades, I thought were the perfect touch to add with the filigree on the chair and a halves. And my horse head in the corner on a whole column that is just there. Once again, another spring find. And adding some lighting on the wall once again to create total mood. So sometimes this room will accompany me and one of my good girlfriends, and we'll just sit and have cocktails and talk. So I just love the space, but it is still a work in progress, but we're getting there. The art that is hanging here was given to me by my cousin, and she knows my love of art. And when she gifted me this, I mean, it really brought tears to my eyes. And I thought, this lady needs her own moment. So I thought, let's just hang her from the ceiling to just give her this whole ambiance of, I guess, in a sense, being the gatekeeper of the room. Her hair wrap is out of like a tissue paper that is raised from the art. And the drapes that I chose underneath, I thought would be a play on looking as if she had her gown or dress that flowed down from the art. And then the lighting behind her in the evening illuminates her, and it's just breathtaking to just have this whole little corner here that does its own thing. So she just kind of prays over us at night in a sense because her eyes are closed, and I think she is all of amazing. The inspiration behind the paint color was I wanted something that would be moody but not too girly, in a sense to still make my husband feel like this is his room as well. But when you talk purple and mulberry and berry colors and things like that, they exude warmth. So I just thought that this color would be a good play on the space. And then the fact that I had these two big giant black abstract art that almost take up the whole wall. So it kind of gives a good balance to, it's not so in your face when you walk into the room. But the room, like I said, was described yummy. So this is where it came from. So my bathroom has been a functional situation for me because most people's bathroom just kind of, you know, have all these clean lines and things like that. But I like to see my things. I love jewelry. I love earrings. I love art. So my bathroom still has a play on all of that. So check yes for all the above. The lady that I have in my bathroom, when I saw her, I thought, yeah, after a long day of work and working in retail, it's like, this is how you sometimes feel. Not that you actually do this, but when I saw her, I thought, this is what makes the end of the day like, yeah, woosah. But she's just super cool. And it's just a aha laugh moment. And then to find a pillow that says, please take a seat. Like, how perfect are those two together? And what was so crazy is I saw the pillow and I thought, well, where would you put that? And then it hit me, under the lady in the bathroom is where this pillow needs to go. And it's a perfect marriage. And then to hang some hot fuchsia drapes instead of shower curtains, it's just fitting for the lady in the bathroom. Yeah, that's how the bathroom came about. So right outside my bedroom, I just wanted to show you really quick. Repurposing canvas is a whole lot of fun. So don't sleep on artwork that you're over. Don't throw it away. Don't take it to the Goodwill. Just go and get some more paint and make it happen. So I was out one night after work and decided to redo this art. And I just started making straight lines. And then next thing you know, they turned into women. And I named them the Divas. So they're like Natalie Cole, Patti LaBelle, Dinah Ross. And so I thought that this was perfect. They have earrings and lipstick and all different hairstyles. And it was just a lot of fun having a glass of wine and painting with my girl. And we had a good time. So don't sleep on repurposing your canvases. So my outdoor is a work in progress at this moment, but staple pieces are in place. So we have a new 84-inch sofa with a swivel chair and my solar stove, an accent chair, and once again, Green Thumb is trying to make it happen along with the pops of color there and here. So we can come out and sit and have our coffee and a little breakfast outside, listen to nature. And the goal is to reface the concrete, add a rug, and I've got a glow in the dark cornhole that is going to go out into the yard. So this is where the fun is going to happen, along with a giant screen to watch movies and lay up on the sofa and take it all in. To me, what makes a house a home is your family, the things that you love, and the history of being able to make memories in your home.
Hey Homeworthy, welcome to our home. I'm Matt.
And I'm Rocky. Come on in.
Come on in.
To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi guys, my name is Rocky Barnes. This is my husband.
Hi guys, I'm Matt Cooper.
I'm a model influencer.
I do photography and management, and this is our house in LA.
Welcome. This was our first home together, my first home ever. And right after we got married, we had been house hunting all throughout LA. And the second I walked into this house, what did I say? I was like, this is it. This is our home.
It's the first thing you said.
I was obsessed. It took like less than 5 minutes and I was like, this is our home.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
we looked for like a good year and a half, and it was very challenging, the market when we were looking. So when we found places that we liked, it was pretty obvious. We wanted to make a good run at it. And this
then
one,
2 weeks after we got the house, I found out I was pregnant, so it was kind of perfect timing. The house had really good bones. The living room looked kind of similar, but completely different at the same time.
Yeah.
We took the house all the way down to the studs and did a full remodel, but kept most of the original footprint.
yeah, this is a 1957 mid-century, and it looked drastically different than this when we
It was a bit
first moved in.
Frankenstein, like hodgepodge together. It had been remodeled several times, but like the kitchen and the bathrooms were all original, but there were some weird architectural moments throughout the house that you could tell had been added on. So we started from scratch and kind of made everything throughout the house nice and consistent. I started off as a model and was kind of an early adopter into the social media space. And that was probably 2012, so like 12 years ago, aging myself. Matt started in finance.
Yeah, I worked in finance for like 8 years, and moved to LA, met this one, and she kind of kept me in LA, so I had to rethink what I was doing, and in the interim I opened up a restaurant.
And then I dragged him to come work with me.
And then most recently I've come on full-time with Rocky Barnes LLC, so it's been a lot of different things for me, but it's been a fun kind
He's
of.
kind of a Renaissance man. He really does anything and everything he puts his mind to. He is an amazing photographer, manager, he kind of does it all. So we have a really special setup where we get to work together, travel together,
Parent together,
parent
live together, do a lot of things together.
Took a while to figure it out, but we made it work.
Yeah.
All right, here we are in the entryway of our house.
And my lovely wife greets you every time you come to our home.
Matt took this on one of our trips to,
Mexico.
yeah,
This was in Creyas.
Costa
Yeah.
Creyas. Very nice. Oh, this is one of our favorite things though, that we never thought we'd love so much. This really cool
Coat rack.
coat rack from Salvatore.
Yes.
It's like the prettiest coat rack I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So,
This is actually probably the coolest bathroom in our house, and we really never get to use it because it's our powder room. But
You can take a peek.
yeah, you can take a peek or pee if you need to as well.
To make this space kind of special and unique, because it is so small, we did a really cool graded plaster texture on the walls.
Yeah, they actually used a pasta cutter on wet, like concrete and plaster to go up and down, and then to accent that more, we put uplighting in the floor of the bathroom to accent and show kind of the texture in the wall, which is super cool.
It's simple, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So all of the rugs in the house we sourced from ABC Carpet and Home. They have like the most amazing vintage rug selection. We went and handpicked them all. It took like a whole day to like go through stacks and stacks of rugs. But I'm really happy with how they all
If you haven't gone to ABC Carpet and Home, it was actually one of like our first dates in New York.
Yeah.
It's a place I took her to, and it's a really dope store. Their rug department is on like the 7th floor, and you can get lost up there. It's very, very cool.
So the one thing that we didn't really touch in the remodel was the exposed beams in the roof. This is kind of how it always was when we first came to see the house, and it was the one thing I didn't want to touch. Our interior designer wanted to clean it all up, but I really love the kind of imperfections of it. It adds character to the house. Another thing that we really loved about the house is the open floor plan. It's a really big space, but I think that we managed to make a lot of vignettes out of it to make it feel really cozy.
Yeah, and we actually closed off when we first moved into this house. This space right here, which you'll see, it was actually a built-in bar. And behind this built-in bar, this was actually all open. So we closed in part of this space to make a separate room.
Yeah, it was even more open, but we created a third room because I took the third bedroom to turn into my closet.
Yeah.
But I really love, like, one of our favorite things about the living room is our sofa from Saba Italia, and the double-sided sofa is one of my favorite things because it really creates this double seating area in the living room, which is so fun.
Yeah, we love to think this could be like our backgammon game area at some point. We don't have kids, but for now it's just
This is kind of like
overflow.
the appetize, like the happy hour lounge spot, games, and then this is like the cozy TV area.
Yeah, and we just redid this to be even more of like a cozy area. This used to be extended longer, so we have more of like an L-shaped couch, and we kind of made it more of like a true daybed feel now.
And then when we first had the house, this pole was a giant, like, Greek column. It was literally this big around. It was massive.
And underneath it was just a couple 2x4s, which also was incredibly structurally not sound, so that was scary. When we took it apart, we realized what was holding up basically the main header of our roof line was just like a 2x4. So
I don't know why they thought a giant Greek column was gonna look good, but it did not.
it didn't.
We have this really fun piece of art from Pangea. It's actually a flag. It's this really cool French brand. And I bought 3 of these for the boys' room, and Matt loved it so much he demanded we put it in our living room. And I feel like the dance with chaos.
It says put your shoes on and dance with chaos, which I just thought was a really cool concept for a living room and kind of like a guest entertaining space.
We like to entertain. We wanted to have a little bit of wild inspo in the living room.
Yeah.
Another rug from ABC Home and Carpet.
This is probably our favorite rug in the house. This is from their Smoke collection.
It's not vintage, it's new, but it has a vintage feel to it.
Yeah. It just like worked so well with the tones in our house, and we also matched kind of the tones of the rug with these amazing coffee tables.
Yeah, these were custom made by LP Design.
Yep.
She had them custom made for the house, and I was freaked out when they showed up and they were pedestals, because I was like, our boys are gonna tip them over, but they are so sturdy.
And heavy.
Our boys like run all over them.
They climb on them, they sit on them, and they're actually like indestructible. So when we moved in, this wall was actually all a giant built-in. It was all like custom millwork. We ended up moving this whole wall out a little bit to gain more space in our bedroom. So that's why we had to get rid of that, unfortunately. But we kind of tried to recreate that with these floating shelves and the low console unit. So.
And then my favorite pieces on the shelves are definitely our heads that we got in Sicily. We got these on our baby moon in Taormina.
Yeah, those as well as giant wooden mushrooms, which I had to carry through the streets of Sicily. Both of those, we'll show you those mushrooms soon, but Rachel's pregnant, so she obviously couldn't carry anything, so I had these giant heads as well as solid wooden mushrooms to carry home with us.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. These are actually also from ABC.
It looks like a rock.
Yeah.
But it's like a giant poof.
These
For
are
the
also
boys.
from ABC Carpet Home, and we actually have a few more of them over there.
They're fun for the boys.
Yeah, they were just like a fun piece that we loved when we saw them.
Oh, this is Sarah Ellison. She's an Australian designer. We have a really cool console table from her and this chair, and it's just super cozy and comfy. I wanted a different texture in the living room. We have like a bousel, the marble. I wanted to bring in a different texture and kind of a pop of color. So this
Piece.
did the job.
Yeah.
Our couch is extremely kid-friendly.
Yeah.
We absolutely love our couch. It's Saba Italia, and we actually just rearranged it to make it more of like a giant
day bed.
Day bed for the kids.
Yeah, it's
We-
modular, so there's like each piece is like you can connect in different ways. So it's really a fun couch because it can kind of grow with you and grow with your family.
We switched it around a bunch of times. I think throughout the design process, we've kind of learned what works and what doesn't for kids. Early on, we lost a couple tables to our toddler, Jones.
Like
And-
$3,000 tables, just
just smashed on our concrete floors. But you know, when we were getting new pieces for the house, we definitely kept our kids in mind, like tables that were gonna tip over, like rounded edges, stuff like that. But I think that I personally grew up in an antique house where like everything was kind of breakable, and I turned out okay and never really broke anything. I think when your kids are around your stuff, you kind of figure out what they're into and what they're not, and you just lift some of the nice stuff up on higher shelves until they get older. But
or move it into the garage so that it's just inaccessible to the children.
I think we both refuse to have our house turn into a giant playroom, so it's a nice balance. We have
Yeah.
our kids out and about.
Say we
but-
keep certain spaces like that we're comfortable having toys out in, and then some spaces we just are off limits.
I think the biggest thing for us too is there used to be big terracotta tiles throughout the house, and we took all of those up and polished our foundation.
It's the original slab of the house, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so we have this kind of raw concrete floor, which is indestructible for two little boys, which is really nice. That's very kid friendly.
All right, should we head into the dining room?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool.
This is a giant space, and I had my heart set on a round table, and finding a unique 72-inch round table is really hard. So we had this one custom made.
It's impossible, for the record.
No, it's not impossible, but none of the ones that we found were cool enough for us. But we had this made at Stonelands USA, and we went and handpicked the slab. And
This is called Blue Sky Marble. I didn't know that was a thing, but it was the only like slab. They have very few like true one-piece slabs that are big enough to make this type of table. And of course, my wife found the one that was available to do it, and it was this material, which is apparently very rare. I ended up using the leftover pieces of the base to make like this like triangle.
all right, so all of our light fixtures in the house are
Allied Maker.
Allied Maker.
They're based
and
out of Brooklyn.
this chandelier was custom made. I really, really wanted these alabaster pieces incorporated into the space, and she custom designed the chandelier specifically for the space, and I just love how it turned out. We
Yeah.
also have them mirrored on the entryway to the kitchen, which is really cool. They're really beautiful on their own, and then you don't even know they're lights, and then they turn on and they're even more special, so it's really cool.
Yeah, they have like this glow around them too, which is really cool.
All right, then all of our plants in the house are done by Plants and Spaces. She's based here in LA, and all of her stuff is really...
Yeah, she's literally has like, I would say, the most unique plants I've seen in houses, and she kind of has like all of her plants almost have like a Dr. Seuss feel. They're quirky and they have interesting shapes, and I think her like best...
Example A.
Yeah, I mean, she literally picked this thing out of her warehouse, and like this would like mirror and go perfect in the space, and just the way I think it like captures the room, and it's really, really cool.
It's a big room, so it takes up a lot of space in the best way possible.
Yeah, and this...
she sources all of the vessels as well. This barnacle vase is massive.
Yeah, I carried that into the house with the mover, and
Almost broke your back.
still recovering from that one.
All right, and then in this little space, this originally was a built-in bar, but it just was so massive and took up so much space that we just did a little kind of makeshift bar here.
Yeah, I would say
Obviously with Casa del Sol tequila. our favorite. And I had this piece custom made from LNRC in Morocco. I wanted like
really
a
cool.
Matisse vibe from it, and I think it kind of worked perfect and brought in a little bit of the color elements, like the blues, the creams from our Wind and Sea surfboard. This is vintage from my mom. So a lot of collected pieces in this space. This is our little like vanity table. It's kind of like the first thing you see when you walk in. We always have fresh flowers on it. Our little olive atelier pieces. This is Sarah Ellison from Australia. I love the stripes and then the different legs. It just makes it really special.
And these are those solid wooden mushrooms I alluded to earlier that we brought back from Sicily.
These chairs I sourced on a vintage website from somewhere in Scandinavia. They're really cozy and comfy. And I just love the shape. I felt like the low profile matched the couch. They have like a mid-century vibe to them. And I was originally gonna do like a chartreuse, but when they showed up, I loved the
Original
dark green.
material.
We just ended up keeping it, so.
When we initially designed the house, our lives were very chaotic. We were traveling a lot. It was kind of, you know.
We were rarely home.
We were rarely home, but when we were home, we wanted to come back to a place that felt calm and kind of was a relaxing space that we could really enjoy and not feel overwhelmed in, because our lives do get overwhelming and crazy at times.
I think also we have nice stuff in our house, but everything's meant to be used and lived in. Like nothing's too perfect to sit in.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Nothing's too perfect for our kids to play at or play on. Like our kids eat at this table with us too, and it's probably one of the more expensive things in our home. And I think we have nice things, but we want to enjoy them. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, things are meant to be used and lived in. There's no like untouchable
limits.
room or untouchable furniture. You walk in, we want everyone to feel like they can just relax and enjoy themselves.
Should we make our way into the kitchen, my favorite room in the house?
This is Matt's room. After you.
My space. Our design styles are totally different.
Yeah. That was probably one of our biggest challenges. I'm a maximalist and Matt is
A minimalist.
an industrial minimalist.
Yeah,
He's constantly throwing my stuff away.
we're trying to.
Are trying to. We worked with a designer, Summer Jensen
From Hawk & Co.
from Hawk & Co. And she did all of the interior architectural designs. And Matt and I kind of took the reins at an early stage and brought it to life. So I think when we were describing our design aesthetic, it was kind of like a mid-century Tulum vibe. I think you hate that term, but
Yeah. All right, guys, welcome to the kitchen. This is one of the windows we were kind of alluding to before. We can kind of connect the outdoor space to the interior in almost every room that faces the backyard. When we have pool days or we're entertaining, this is always open. It's kind of where we lay out food. People can kind of come in and out. It's a really fun part of the kitchen.
this is definitely the heart of our home.
We
I think we
spend
spend the most time here. Matt
Yeah.
loves to cook, and we're always entertaining. So we wanted a kitchen where we could hang out with him, and he wouldn't be, alone in the kitchen. This is kind of a space where he can be cooking and also involved in entertaining.
The kids are posted up here. We have these little standing kind of hangout areas for the
Towers,
boys.
toddler towers.
Toddler towers, which they kind of hang out at. I'm cooking. Rachel's over there enjoying food or enjoying wine. And yeah, we love this room. And I spent a lot of time kind of picking the appliances in here. This is our appliance wall. So these are actually our fridge and freezer, which we have fully covered. So see, Thermador did this.
The parts of the kitchen that we were the most shocked, pleasantly surprised about were our countertops. We originally wanted to do concrete and it just wasn't really going to work out, so we found this countertop company. It's decked in, and we weren't really sure how it was going to work because we hadn't seen it in real life, and it turned out to be one of my favorite elements in the kitchen, and it's literally indestructible, which is great.
It's composite. It's not a natural material, although it really emulates a natural stone. But you can cut on it. You can spill red wine on it. You can put hot surfaces on it, and
The kids
literally
have colored on it.
it is indestructible, and it's a great feature of the kitchen. We love our big island. I think we spend a lot of time using it. So
Countertops are one of my favorite parts of the kitchen. They look so great and blend in with the plaster. It was a really nice surprise.
all our appliances are Thermador. we were thoughtful in picking out kind of what we wanted to make sure I could get all the cooking I wanted to out of the space.
This is great for entertaining.
We have drink drawers, also great for kids.
Yeah.
They're just loaded at all times. Below is a freezer and ice drawer.
Great for parties.
Yeah, it's great for parties. Pool days, our specialty is homemade pizzas. We have a pizza oven out back. We do homemade dough in the morning with the boys, let it rest and sit before we're ready to kind of cook it. We make everything from scratch in this house. So yeah, pizza and pasta. I'm Italian, so that's usually where I like to live with my food and cuisine. So it's super fun.
You do really good breakfast sandwiches.
I'm good at breakfast too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the stuff that's up on these shelves, we kind of our daily use. We have like, Rachel loves collecting pottery.
Yeah, all of our plates and stuff are collected as well. Like the ones next to Matt we got in Morocco.
Yeah.
The little bowls we got in Carmel from a wedding. The other ones are Matt Washington pottery, like a local potter. So we kind of love to collect and all the teapots from Marrakesh.
This teapot is from Marrakesh, from the
souks.
From the souks. I negotiated heavy. I had to bring out my New York skills to get that down from a reasonable price. All this stuff is stuff we've collected. These are the boys' touch on the kitchen. I don't know when those astronauts got up there, but they seem to have never left.
Yeah. Everything's mixed and matched. We wanted everything to kind of work together, but not just be so perfect. We have a fun dishware collection and glassware.
Yeah, we don't have any like perfect sets.
We
Everything's
just got
kind
these
of a
really
mix.
cool glasses in San Tropez. I'm obsessed with them. These little like face glasses. It's like our new water glasses.
Yeah,
These we picked
really,
up on
really
our
cool.
last trip to San Tropez. This is our little eco birdie set. This is the little, we usually pull it out during mealtime, but it's made out of recycled water bottles and it's indestructible, but I think it's pretty chic for kids stuff.
Yeah, the boys, when the boys have a special occasion or they're well behaved, they get to take that out into the living room and watch TV while they eat, which is fun.
So we love this. We bring it outside when we have pizza parties. It's like the traveling kids table. All right, that's it for the inside. Let's check out the outside. One of my favorite parts of the house
Is this?
just our whole outdoor space. I think is really special. This is where the parties happen.
Yeah, and it's fun to be able to just flow from in to out like this. One of the biggest design moments I think we did when we were thinking about our house.
Is making it all indoor outdoor.
Yeah.
But we love this space. The kids are jumping in the pool. We're serving drinks and food from the kitchen, and it kind of all
We have
accumulates
these
right
lovely
here.
butterflies that just kind of are summoned when we're shooting. This is definitely like the mecca of the house, and I think we're a corner lot, and our whole house is kind of like a V that's shaped to the outside backyard area. So
I feel like we
kinda-
call our house the Riyadh.
yeah.
It's like this magical oasis on the inside of the house.
Yeah,
really fun.
It's surrounded by the house, and then we also luckily have all these giant property line walls that our neighbors and us agreed to put in. So it feels very private back here, and it does feel like a little oasis. You kind of don't even know about until you come in.
So we put in this really fun day bed. This used to be a giant group of palm trees, but it really cut the line of sight for the backyard. So it turned into a giant day bed, and everyone just loves hanging out here. And when we redid the backyard, we added in this kind of cantilever sofa, which I have to say is the best view in the backyard. It's so pretty over there.
Definitely the best seat. Yeah, so our pool was actually like 15 feet longer than this before we renovated the backyard. It also had like a 10-foot deep end, so felt like it was a little dated, as well as like a rock diving board. So we cut the deep end off of the pool and then just kept the original shape because we love the lagoon style shape. But that was kind of like a good design element for us because we got to regain all this space in the back, which became our dining area. We just finalized a partnership with CB2. It was really fun to work with them. They really, kind of helped us accent our space and pick the right pieces. So we could create these little moments, which we feel really good about the final product. I think it looks great.
Yeah. All right, come over here.
Yeah,
This
careful.
is where our dinner parties happen.
These are our new comfy loungers. Dining table, I would say this is really where the magic happens from the outdoor cooking.
Matt's pizza oven station.
I spend most of my time back here on pool days. This is our pizza oven. It's a Gosney. It's really great for what we do. I have a lot of fresh herbs back here, so I can kind of pick my herbs, make my pizzas. I think this is the best view of the house, especially for me when I'm hanging out here cooking. It's fun to kind of look at everyone enjoying the backyard, and being able to see the house from here is really cool.
I just love that you can see all the palm trees. It gives it really like that California iconic feel. Like the rest of our house, we wanted it to be really easy to entertain back here. So if Matt's cooking, we go straight into the dining area. You can lounge and talk to people while they're in the pool. One of the things when we shortened the pool is we added a bench on the deep end. So while people were laying out here, people could come and sit and chit chat while they're in the pool. So we really thought about those details in order to make it flow and really be something that people can hang out together and there were any sort of isolated spaces.
We had to actually make the coping extra wide and actually elevate it in certain areas based on how the drainage worked in our backyard. So it almost became this like bench in certain areas, and we kind of love that, and it's pretty unique. So it was a fun design element that kind of came out of just function for the backyard. And everywhere we did this washed concrete, acid wash, which we chose so things weren't slippery out here, and it kind of ended up being a great design element as well.
Yeah.
I think it added a lot of texture and safety for running kids in the backyard.
We love our pool. We get a lot of use out of it.
Love our pool. We love our outdoor space. We spend a lot of time out here in the summers and even in the winters.
He cold plunges in the winter.
Yeah.
I do not. What makes a house a home? I think the people in it. It's always, I think our kids really add a lot of life to it.
Yeah, like if we go on a trip, just the two of us, and we come home, I mean, the second you open the door and the kids are kind of there, kind of brings it home for us.
Yeah, I think, and also all the personal touches. I think a lot of houses these days like to feel so perfect, and ours, I think, is lived in and unique and shows our personality, which I think really makes it a home.
Today on Homeworthy, we're touring the stunning home of Rochelle and Mike Johnson. After meeting in college, the couple settled in Little Rock, Arkansas, where they worked their magic transforming their family home into a bright modern oasis that's perfect for entertaining. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Rochelle
And I'm Mike. Welcome to our home.
in Little Rock, Arkansas. Come on in. I'm Rochelle Johnson.
I'm Mike Johnson, and we're in Little Rock, Arkansas.
I am a full-time content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call it. I have lived here about 15 years, as long as we've been married. And I moved here for him, of course, from Los Angeles area.
We met in college. So we met back in 2004. We started dating in 2008. I moved back to Little Rock. I'm from Little Rock. My whole family's here, and it just kind of made sense for me to come home. She went back to LA. I think the next year, 2009, we ended up getting married, and it just made more sense for Rochelle to move to Little Rock than it was for me to move to LA. So we were like, hey, let's just start our life in Little Rock. And so she came all the way from LA to Little Rock and has not looked back. Thank God. I am a marketing director and a worship pastor at a church in North Little Rock, Arkansas, Full Council Metro Church. And so I'm there most of the time. My part-time job is working for beautycurve.com. Although she did fire me some years ago, but she pulls me back in from
When I need you.
Right. But she went full-time blogging, influencing, after we had our first child, Creed.
Yeah.
And so that was 7 years ago.
So I started my journey, I would say, like a decade ago. So we didn't have kids, it was just us. We were just like hustling. But I think as my life has evolved, like having kids, moving. I think we've moved twice since I've been doing this. I feel like my platform just evolves and you include things that are happening in your life and people follow along and they're interested in your kids. Then they're interested in your home and then you're showing them like what kind of towels you buy. So it just like evolves with you. So I share not a lot of interior design, but I do share some because, you know, people are interested and they want to know where you got your pillows and, you know, where you got all your stuff in your house.
Yeah, so her brand is kind of more like lifestyle now. So it's fashion, beauty, and home stuff. So, and then she just happens to be good at all three. So it kind of works.
We are in the foyer of our home. Pretty airy, it's pretty light. Enough room to walk around our little table here.
Our previous home, like you walked in the front door and you were like in the entire house.
Yeah,
like,
in the kitchen.
We really wanted like open concept, everything. We were like, okay, complete open concept. And then we were like, this was the worst decision we ever made. So we were so happy that we now have an actual foyer. And so I guess we can talk about this because this is actually the first piece that we bought for this house. Like we walked in the store and we just knew that this was like the piece that would set off. We didn't know where it was gonna go, but we bought it. And so when we got in, I was like, I think it should go right there in the middle of the foyer. And it's like perfect. Another piece that we recently added, this actually started out in her office. And then we brought it out. Just needed a little something, and these are the doors that my coveted doors that I wanted and I got. So I'm super pleased with them.
We got this little driftwood sculpture. One day we had like family portraits taken and the photographer actually was like, we need something right here. So ever since then we've been like looking for different things we could put in this space. So we found this and we love it. We like the natural element. Of course it goes with our color scheme and it just like fits perfectly. You don't really see it coming in the house. You see it leaving the house, but it's just fine. It's just another little visual element that we wanted to add. We got this table from Worlds Apart and it was another early buy. We were really excited, so we, you know, got a few things.
Right, didn't know where it was gonna go originally. But yeah, we sat here and we're like, okay, it's actually perfect because you didn't want anything just too big, but then it's not super small to where it looks like doll furniture. So we're like, okay, this is kind of perfect. And we played with a million different things on top and kind of settled with this. And then we're kind of torn about our picture not having the kids in it. And after all, this is their house. We just live here. But we were like, that's one of our favorite pictures from our vow renewal, our 15 years in Mexico. So we're like, we're going to have that there.
Now we're gonna head into the formal living room. I love the windows in here. It's just so open, but it's not that open where you can see everything. We try to keep this room as clean as possible, but unfortunately it has become my son's favorite room.
Literally.
So he wants to eat his pizza and his muffins in here.
I think he really just likes the rug.
Yeah, he likes the rug.
Don't look too hard at the rug. You might.
He likes the rug, so he hangs out in here a lot. But, you know, it has survived, so we're happy about that.
Yeah, and we really wanted a space that we could kind of try to keep clean most of the time. We were like, okay, when we were looking for a house, we have to have a house that has a formal living room and then a house, and a den. So that the kids can trash the den, but it's like when you come into our house, at least we look like we're not pigs. So that was kind of the idea.
So I think in my like fashion journey, I'm kind of known for like mixing prints and patterns, and also I love leopard print and different animal prints, and they actually incorporate really well together. So we found this beautiful rug, which
it's actually by a designer that's based in Little Rock.
It's from Global Views, but the designer actually lives in Little Rock. So when I posted it on my Instagram, she was like, I designed that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, small world. But it's a beautiful rug with a little animal print. But I feel like it's neutral enough for the space. And we paired it with these tiger striped chairs, which I love also. And at first I wasn't sure if they would work well together, but once we put them in this space, we realized they complement each other and it all just like works together. We have a lot of white walls, so I feel like we can do a little bit more with patterns. And
I think it's kind of important just to really put stuff in your house that you really like. And sometimes you'll just be surprised at how it works together. I think this room, we wanted it to look like adult, like we're almost 40, so we're in our grown and sexy era. So we wanted something a little sexy, but to keep in line with our color scheme too. So we found this white couch. I think Rochelle, place in Dallas. What is it called?
Scout Design.
Scout Design. And so, and then these pillows are from a local store, and we just kind of mixed it together. And we kind of didn't want anything too dark because we have this giant black fireplace over here. And so we wanted to kind of keep the furniture a little light, a little more airy, a little more neutral, and let that kind of be the highlight of the room. Another worlds away find, these mirrors. We've been seeing them everywhere, and we were like, we want these mirrors in our house, we want these mirrors in our house. And we walk in one day and they had a pair. And so we were able to get them at a huge discount, and I was very, very pleased with that. So we knew we wanted something kind of tall in this area because the ceiling height, and we didn't want anything too busy. She was kind of torn between a big bookcase and the black ones, but we were thinking like, okay, we'll have a giant black bookcase. It'll just like a wall of black. But so we kind of decided on this, and these matching tables are also from Worlds Away. And these cushion things are from Worlds Away too. So this is a whole little Worlds Away section.
And then we found this lovely floor lamp with the acrylic, which I love. Try not to do too much of it so it's not like everywhere, but I do have a little bit in every room. So those are local and they just fit the space so well. So when we first bought the house, this fireplace was here, but it was painted like a copper.
It was wood. It was like all
Was it wood?
Yeah, and it had like copper strips on it.
Yes, yeah. It was wood.
Which
but
it didn't look bad.
It didn't look bad. But we were like, just paint it black.
The whole thing.
And it transformed it. You wouldn't even know that it wasn't.
Yeah, this piece was wood, and then all of this inlay was actually like a copper tile. And so we actually painted the tile, painted the wood, and we love how it turned out. One of the benefits of having a room this size is that you can fit a ton of people in here at one time. And we have these Santa parties every year where we invite all our friends and their kids to come over to the house, and we decorate cookies, and then their parents like secretly bring a gift, and we put them all at the front, and then we have Santa Claus actually come to the house. And so the kids all like run in the living room. So we have like 40 kids in the living room, and Santa's over here on the couch, and it's just such a great space for doing things like that. We're really happy about how accommodating the space is, and I don't know if it's the windows, the ceiling height, but it's a feel-good room.
We moved into this home 3.5 years ago, actually on the day our daughter was born. We had scheduled movers, and I just went into labor that day. So it was a little chaotic.
10 out of 10 do not recommend.
Yeah. It was a little chaotic, but we made it. We were looking for homes for a long time, couple of years.
It's our previous home was like
it was
2,000 square feet.
Yeah, half this size.
We already had our son Creed, and Evan was on the way. So we were like, we have to get out of this house before Evan is here, because we were just busting out at the seams. And we were looking, we put offers in on homes, everything fell through. And I think this was the home we never looked at because this was the brown house. And it was a little bit over our budget. And we were like, we're gonna have to paint the entire house. It was so dark, the ceilings were burgundy, all the walls and trim were brown. So we never even looked at it. And when our offer fell through on the house we thought we wanted, we were like, okay, we were pushing the corner. She was due in a few months. I was like, let's just go look at it. And as soon as we walked in the door, we were like, this is it.
Yeah.
We were like, we can do this.
Yeah. The realtor said that so many people passed it up or like would walk in and like straight out because the paint colors. everything was just brown and burgundy, and it's not even an old house. We were like, I mean, it literally only needs paint. We don't have to do floors. We did change the countertops in the kitchen, but other than that, it just needed paint, and it looks like a completely different house. And this house has such a nice flow. We can just move on over to the dining room. And our dining room table is another piece that we bought fairly quickly from Restoration Hardware. And we loved, I loved it immediately. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was the one. And then our chairs are also from Worlds Apart. So we use this table more for our holiday gatherings. When Mike's family comes over, he has a pretty large family because he has 4 siblings and they're married and kids and all that. So we definitely use this table for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and anytime we have people over, just for any of our parties or our soirees, we invite people to definitely sit at the dining room table. Sometimes they're a little intimidated. They're like, I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to, but we're like, no, just sit there, enjoy. You can't do anything that our kids haven't done already. So this chandelier, it complements the other ones really well. I feel like they all probably are in the same family. And I feel like it complemented the table pretty well. We wanted gold accents, but not just an explosion of gold. So we like the black with it because it kind of just breaks it up a little bit. We love the black accents. And then we got these 2 pictures. They're actually from a local artist. His name is Bo. And they were actually in the Memphis store. And then once we got them, we saw in one of the neighborhoods, there was a mural of all these faces, and we found out it was the same person. So we're like, oh wow, like such a small world. So we love these guys.
And would you guess it, this is actually another piece from Worlds Apart, Worlds Away. We found it at an amazing price. We didn't really, it was kind of one of the earlier purchases too. We hadn't bought our table yet. So it was kind of like, we were just piecing things together, and I really like how it works with that piece and some of the other pieces that we have in the house. And we wanted something a little abstract, like as far as a mirror, and we actually found this one at CB2, and it looks cool, and it's like an art piece but also serves a purpose as a mirror. So it's one of my favorite things. So we have a little magic here. We have a pedestal that actually has a light inside. And this happens to be our second pedestal. The first one we had, our 2-year-old topped it over and it broke in a million pieces because it was like,
Granite.
It was some kind of stone, like a granite. But yeah, she broke the first one. So we're like, this one is metal, so hopefully it won't break. The only part that can break is the top. But we love how cool it looks at night. And really, at any time, but it looks cool like that. And then you turn a little switch and got a little light. This little piece looks expensive, but it's from Home Goods, and you know, if she knocks it over, it'll be fine.
I think we let the house speak to us and tell us what it wanted to be, and it said it wanted to be black and white. So originally we wanted to do like a California cool design, but we bought a coffee table and a dining room table from Restoration Hardware, and it definitely wasn't giving California cool. It's definitely giving like elevated, like
little glam, little bit.
Which I think that fits our personalities more because we're not casual at all. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, we really bought like a piece at a time. So we were like, okay, we know we like this. This could work. And then she would sketch out something on this little design thing and like, okay, well, I think this rug will go with this and that. And so everything was just like really organic.
Yeah.
It was like everything is just really kind of curated from a bunch of different places.
You kind of have to be resourceful because we don't have a ton of options, but like we don't have Restoration Hardware, we don't have Crate and Barrel, we don't have Pottery Barn anymore, we used to. So we kind of have to be a little resourceful, trust the internet a little bit, and kind of find what we can. And sometimes we'll travel, but it all like worked out and it all came together.
There's a hidden gem in Memphis, and there's a brand that's sold in all these high-end stores like Neiman Marcus and a lot of outlets online, but it's called Worlds Away. But they produce the furniture in Memphis, and they have an outlet like right next to their warehouse, and it's called Worlds Apart. And so a lot of the furniture, a lot of the demo pieces or things that are slightly damaged will end up in Worlds Apart. And so you can get them at a huge discount. So we were going up there like every weekend trying to like furnish our entire house because we were saving thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but they have we love everything that they have. Tons of stripes and black and white. A lot of acrylic and like lucite things.
Yeah.
So like
a lot of things that we would see on TV or in magazines were like, oh, they actually have that, and that's actually produced by them. So it was kind of cool to discover them, and it was kind of on a whim. One of her Instagram followers told her about it, and we were like, oh, okay. So yeah, we got a lot of pieces from them, a lot of restoration hardware. We're still Home Goods fans. Like we will pull up on a Home Goods in a minute.
Yeah, there's one like 2 minutes away, so I go every week.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a hodgepodge of things. Some things actually even made it from our original house, like our like townhouse 15 years ago. So we still have pieces. Our kitchen table is our original kitchen table from when we first got married, and several things. So it's not all new.
And now we're gonna head into our kitchen, which is definitely one of my favorite rooms. I love the large island. It's perfect to sit at. The kids can eat at the island. It's a safe place for them. But it's also great for cooking, preparing food. Then when we have parties, we do like a big spread on the island, and there's plenty of room for everything.
This is our first like big kitchen too. Both of our previous houses had tiny kitchens. Like the first kitchen was tiny. The second house was like a galley kitchen. So we were like, okay, we need a real kitchen.
Yeah.
And so we got it. The only thing I think that looks like it did when we purchased the house are the beams that are in the ceiling, and they were just like this. We thought about painting them. I'm really glad that we did not, but this is probably some of the only remnant. But believe it or not, all the cabinets are original to the house. We just painted them and redid the backsplash and painted black accents on the hood and on the island.
So the island is a quartz countertop, which, you know, the process of picking out like the perfect stone is always a thing, but we settled on this one, partially because we needed something large enough that we didn't have to have two pieces. So we found this one, which we love. Now the countertop around, we were originally gonna use quartz, but we found this honed granite that looks like quartz, and we saved a lot of money by doing that, and it's super durable. It has the look that we want, and we love it. This is a dream kitchen if you love to cook, which I like to cook. I won't say love to cook, but I do like to cook. I think it's like super useful, especially like around the holidays when we're cooking for a lot of people. One of my specialties is macaroni and cheese, and
she's famous.
Yeah, I'm famous for it. And the chicken chili.
Yeah.
People always request chicken chili.
Ironically, I don't like the chicken chili, but
yeah, he's tired of it now.
She's won awards.
Yeah. We actually got this cool little lamp from Home Goods. Home Goods is like a little treasure chest. I just go in there and just see what speaks to me. So yeah, we love it. It fits like perfectly right here, and it's a little night light for if the kids come down in the middle of the night. So yeah.
Yeah, when she first picked it up, I was like, that looks like it's for a little girl's room. But then when she placed it here, I was like, oh, that actually makes sense, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
And like it costs more than $39.
Yeah. So when we first moved into this house, this hutch was actually bright red, and it had like a little Asian flair. So we just painted it black so it would seamlessly blend into the kitchen, and we just added some contrasting accessories. We got these super cute mugs from
little spot in Memphis, actually. Just walked in and we were like, those would look cool in our
Like
cabinet.
these fit our house.
And you probably noticed, but we have a lot of candles. And of course, we love diptyque. And we found these cups on Etsy, and they have like the label. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get sued pretty soon, but we love these cups and we actually do use them, but they just say coffee on them. And so we kind of turned this into our coffee station.
Bar? Yeah. We just love this kitchen. We spend so much time in this room because it's our kitchen, but it's also the den. So we spend a lot of like family time here. And
and normally when we can't fit everybody at the dining room, it's kind of nice because our little breakfast nook is almost adjacent to the dining room. So it's like you can be in the dining room and still eat in here and still feel connected. So we kind of like that too.
And right off of our kitchen is our den space. This is where we spend the most time. The kids are always in here. My daughter likes to pull out all her toys, and this is like, we call it her kingdom because she puts everything everywhere. She puts a blanket on this table so she can have a tea party. Yeah, they love this space. And it's just a great space. We have like a little fireplace for when it gets chilly. And in the winter, we actually turn it on like every single night.
Every night. And this rug is actually a ruggable. And so it can be picked up and thrown in the washer. So that's very useful, being that this is a super high traffic area for our family. And these chairs are kind of like textured so they don't pick up on as much dirt, and the kids obviously love that they swivel. So yeah, I'm just hoping that swivel mechanism can stand a few more years of them spinning incessantly. But yeah, this is just one of our most used and most practical spaces in the house. Originally, we had a neutral couch in here. I guess this is still technically a neutral, but we had like a gray couch, and it looked more gray when we originally bought it, but when it got here, it was like, oh, this is almost white. So 3.5 years later, the kids completely destroyed the couch. It was beyond repair. So we recently purchased this green couch, and it's kind of like an intermediate couch. It's like, we don't quite know what we want for the space, but we feel like they're too young to spend a lot of money again on a really nice couch. So this looks a little high end, but it doesn't feel that.
But I feel like it's great for them. They can jump on it. They can do whatever they want to. If my son wipes his hands on the couch, it's not going to pick up all the popcorn butter and, you know, everything. So I wanted to try the green, and I actually love it. So I feel like when we're ready to like invest in a nice couch, I think I'm going to go with green, because I think it just works so well in this space. I know it's the only thing that is color besides black and white, but it fits.
Yeah.
My favorite room in the house might be my office. We finished it recently. It's been finished for a while. It's just been messy.
We cleaned it recently.
Yeah, it's like recently cleaned, and like I love it. It's a little different from the rest of the house. It's more of a maximalist flair, which I feel like that fits my vibe. So I love it in there. Okay, this is my office. Come on in. I love this room because it definitely gives a different vibe than the rest of the house. This is more of a maximalist vibe. I was going for a little Parisian, maximalist, also like women empowerment. I have a lot of ladies in here. I have some pictures of myself on the wall, my daughter, my mother-in-law. I just wanted it to be a cool little space that I could work out of. And we have like some, you know, interesting things in here, but like a really nice collection of like my favorite things. These are my bookshelves. I just filled them with a lot of my favorite things. I actually love pink. We just don't have a lot of pink in the house, so I put a little bit of pink in my office. I thought these shoes were stunning, and they belong on a bookshelf, but these are actually the shoes I wore for our vow renewal in Mexico. So I love those. This is actually a piece of art that my son made. He's a wonderful artist. I mean, he's 8, but I see the potential. And he actually has been doing like these abstract paintings since he was, I would say, about 2. And like one year we just had him do a bunch of them, and like we handed them out as Christmas gifts. And I mean, it looks, honestly, I feel like it looks amazing. And I just put it like in a nice frame. So I love having one of his pieces in here. I'm definitely a shoe and handbag girl. So I love to collect like beautiful shoes. And I actually walked into the Nordstrom in New York, and I was looking at some Louboutins, and one of the associates was like, he's actually upstairs shining shoes right now. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, if I find a pair in my size, because I wear 42, I was like, I'm gonna get them and get them signed. And of course, just like Cinderella, they fit. So I had them signed by Christian Louboutin. So they definitely deserve a spot on the shelf. I definitely had a vision of having one of these pieces in the office. I just like the modern take on like this like classical picture. And I personally loved that she was plus size because I'm plus size also. So it was just like, I felt like it was meant to be. So it fit right here in the middle of the bookshelves, and it was just like a perfect match. Another piece that deserved a spot on the shelf is my beautiful pink caviar Chanel. I was waiting to find the perfect shade of pink, and once I saw it, I was like, it has to be mine. So I don't wear it that often. I'm just so, I'm trying to be very careful because I'm actually not the most careful person, but I don't want any color transfer or anything like that. So for the most part, she stays on the shelf, but I do carry her every once in a while. And then we have one of these eternal bouquets, and they say they last a year, but I've had this longer than a year, and I actually had a larger one that lasted, it was like 2 or 3 years. And they even smell good, so I love these. And then just like a collection of books that I've collected, of course, incorporating a little bit of pink. And then we have me and my kids, and then my mother-in-law, who was a big inspiration and a support to my business. This is my gallery wall, and originally we started with these framed Louis Vuitton scarves. These were actually my mother-in-law's, and it's something that she always wanted to do. We saw it in a Gucci store one day, and she was like, I can frame my scarves. She didn't get to do that, but I was like, I'll take 2 of them, put them in my office, and I feel like they complement the space, and it's a good anchor for the gallery wall. So we love these, and I just accumulated just like a few things. I have another picture of me and my daughter here, and then we also have, I found this little sketch of like a corset at a vintage market, and I was like, that is perfect for my wall. And of course, per my last email, and of course, if we ever need champagne, we just press the button. Okay, we're gonna head to the primary bedroom, but before that, I'm gonna show you one of the hutches that I found and I loved. I wanted to find a space for it. This is the one that I wanted next to the fireplace, so I thought we could flank the fireplace with 2 of these hutches, but we felt it would be too heavy, so I convinced Mike that it would fit in this little narrow walkway, and it actually does, and I feel like it looks amazing. Like just when you're looking down the hallway, you see the hutch, and we can take a look inside. So on the top shelf, I have 2 pieces of artwork that actually came from my grandmother's home. She collected, actually my grandparents collected artwork from different Jewish artists, and these are from R.L. Stein. So I wanted to find a place for them in the house, and the hutch was like the perfect spot for them. They're the perfect size. And then down here we have just pictures of our parents. So on the left are Mike's parents, and then on the right are my parents.
And now we're gonna take you to the place where all the magic happens. I always wanted to say that. Our primary bedroom. We kind of wanted this space to be like a continuation of the house, but a little more moody, a little more sexy. In our previous home, we had like lights and there were grays and pinks, a lot of pink actually in our room, and it was pretty, but this is like the complete opposite. It's like stark and black and white, but it's still pretty warm. And so we kind of wanted a space. We knew we wanted a black wall, but we didn't want just like a flat back wall. So we had a local artist create some texture, and there's some layering and things that created this cool look on the back wall. But then we wanted to keep everything else kind of light. And as you noticed, our doors are black throughout the house. So we kind of kept that going through here. But kind of laying the space out, I think the first thing we purchased was the bed. And we knew we wanted a 4-poster type canopy style bed in here, and that the ceiling height could take it. And so we kind of, everything in this room was bought at different times, and I think it kind of feels cool because of that. So these are actually another Worlds Apart find, and so we bought them. This one actually on this side, it's from the same style, but over there on the other side is actually a desk. But we kind of like the idea of using two different pieces. We didn't really want to matchy look like we bought the set from one store. So I just think it looks kind of cool. So this is Rochelle's side, and she has drawers because she needs more storage than me. This is my side of the bed, and it also doubles kind of like as a little sitting area. But I have my little station here to charge my phone and whatnot, and a little space for little knickknacks and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of like having a multi-purpose nightstand desk situation, and actually makes a lot of sense.
So because the space was so large, we felt like it needed a little bit more seating, or we just needed to take up the space. So we found this beautiful sofa. It's actually like a full-size sofa, and it fit really like perfectly in front of the bed. And we bought this coffee table just so we could have like another little sitting area. It's more to take up the space, and also so you don't have to necessarily sit on the bed. We could sit here and watch TV. Sometimes the kids come in here, they'll want to sit on the couch. So it just gives a little like more options for seating.
This chair kind of came about. We just kind of felt like when you walked in, it just needed a little something, and so it's kind of like, I was like, kind of felt like it was in the way, but then once we placed it, it was like, no, it actually works perfectly. And we don't really use this door. We try to keep this door locked all the time. Our son is on the autism spectrum, so he likes to roam the neighborhood. So most of our doors are like locked down like Fort Knox, but in this one especially.
So we celebrated 15 years of marriage this year, and we decided to renew our vows in Mexico. I always dreamed of a beach wedding because I am a Southern California native, but at the time it just wasn't working out. It wasn't feasible. I couldn't find the right venue, so I went with like a church wedding in Arkansas. But I always said I wanted to do it again and do it on the beach, so we were able to do that. And 50 of our closest friends and family members came, and we had literally the best time ever. It was amazing. The photos turned out beautifully, so we wanted to put them on the wall here. So for the mirror in the room, we of course went with the classic Primrose mirror. It's from Anthropologie. I know it's definitely like one of their best sellers, and it has been coined the influencer mirror because so many influencers have it, but it's so beautiful. Like it goes beautifully in anyone's home. We're gonna head to the closet, but the closet is one of the reasons we bought this house. It was the only house that had just a larger closet that I feel would work well with my stuff and all the stuff that I have. And you know, our home is really like, it's a home, but it's also during the week a studio. So we have a lot of white walls, but that is very strategic because I use the house for my content. So I do photos in here, I do videos. We want to be able to use like every space in the house. So the white walls really work for that. And we just want to make sure everything, it kind of looks good on camera, you can say. The closet doesn't always stay clean, but when it does, I'm able to shoot content in there also, and just like display some of my favorite things. And this is the closet. So I love this space, obviously, has some of my favorite things in here. The day we moved in, of course, I had my baby. So they kind of just like threw all the clothes in here. And at that point, I was like, I can't do this. So we had a professional organizer come and she put everything in the closet. She color coded it and it makes life so much easier. One of my signature things is I love a headband. I especially love these jeweled headbands. They're from Lily Saduki and they have the most beautiful headbands. They are just like a piece of art. I'll put one on. And when I wear these, I get so many compliments. But I love them. They're just so pretty and they make such a statement. You could just throw them on with like a dress or jeans or whatever you have, and it just like elevates your outfit. And I also feel like once you elevate your outfit, you elevate your mood and you feel better. I think everyone should invest in a good pair of pumps. It's actually one of the last things that I bought was just like a pair of black pumps. I had gone through a few, but I finally got like a nice pair, and they're like a nice heel height, something that's comfortable for you. These aren't like super high, but they're also not super low, and you can pair them with so many different things. But I would say like a good pair of pumps that you could wear to a wedding, you can wear them to work, you can wear them anytime, you know, you need to get dressed up. That's important. But then if you're like me and you like a little drama, a little sparkle, I got these, which not a basic pump, but it's just like a fun shoe. So I have a lot of basics, so I like to invest in like something that speaks to my personality, and I love these. These are Mock and Mock, and then we also saw them in pink, so I knew I had to have these, and they have like a little heart on them, so very cute. I don't think I've worn these yet, but definitely like one of my favorites. So this is my daughter's room. This is Evan's room. And of course I love pink. So I feel like this was the perfect place to infuse all the pink things. I wanted it to be very feminine. I love florals. I love just all things girly, and thankfully she does too, because she loves playing dress up, she loves pink. And so we just feature this statement wallpaper, which I feel like can grow with her. So I really wanted something that, you know, it's not gonna it won't be like a nursery forever. So I love this wallpaper and this large floral print. This is actually, I mean, my son used this crib, and we wanted to get something that was neutral, that we're like, if we ever have a girl, we want to be able to use it again. And thank goodness we did. And right now it's just like the toddler version of it. So eventually she'll be ready for a big girl's bed. But yeah, it still serves the purpose. And a lot of the stuff in here we actually already had at the old house. So this was some of the furniture from our bedroom, like our dresser, our rug. The only thing that I really wanted to get was this little mini clothing rack. I think it's the cutest thing ever, and she has some of her princess dresses on it. And she actually will come up here after school and grab a dress. She says, I want princess dress. I want blue princess. She loves playing dress up. So it's just a girl's world in here. We wanted to do a little gallery of books. We definitely wanted to incorporate books where she could see herself in the book. So tons of books with Black characters. We have Kamala's book, God Loves You the Way You Are, just books that will affirm her, make sure that she's like grows up to be confident, grows up to be a leader, you know, all the things that, you know, you want your girl to be. So we just displayed some of them here. This one is from my aunt, and it's one of the books that my grandmother would read to me, Blueberry Girl. So we have that in here. And then of course we have one so she can learn about different designers, because obviously.
And now we're entering our son Creed's room, and it is very much a Ralph Lauren theme. Hopefully that conveys. We have a bunch of artwork. Some of it is original to Creed, his little emergency vehicles. He's kind of on a kick with that lately. And so we've kind of framed some of his things and just kind of placed some of his artwork throughout the room along with some other things. Even one of the fun things on this wall is that's one of my old Ralph Lauren shirts. I recently lost 150 pounds and I was like, I can't wear this shirt anymore, but let's make an art piece with it and put it in Creed's Ralph Lauren themed room. And so we kind of got a bunch of layering going on here, a bunch of pattern and print, and everything's kind of classic. This bed is a loft bed from Pottery Barn. And it's actually one of the first pieces of furniture that we bought for the house. We knew that he would have so much fun because it's almost like a plaything and also a bed at the same time. In keeping with the Ralph Lauren theme, we have a little gallery of some horses. I think we found this at a boutique store in Memphis. And a bunch of tchotchkes from different places. I know for some it doesn't really feel that adolescent, like a kid lives in this room, and that was kind of intentional too. We don't have any toys or a TV or anything that will overstimulate him in this room. It's kind of hard to get him to sleep. And so we want this room to be a place where he rests and he understands, hey, this is a place for me to calm down, to go to sleep. So we don't have a lot of vibrant colors, a lot of toys or anything like that. He does have some toys in this chest here, but he knows those are not to be pulled out at night because Creed will stay up 24 hours if we let him. But we kind of wanted this room to feel a little grown up, a little adult, and just to be a place for him to unwind and rest. And so it works really well in that regard. When I think about our home, like I just think about a place of peace, a place to gather. We love entertaining. Like there's a rare occasion like on a weekend that we don't have house guests, and we're kind of known in our group of friends as the host and the party people.
I think home is like your peace. It's like where you go and you can relax, you can, you know, it's just like your like sanctuary in a sense. And when people come over, we want them to feel like at ease. We want them to feel at peace. We want them to feel well. And I think that is why people come over a lot.
You can keep your shoes on in our house.
Yeah, you can keep your shoes on. Yeah, it's just one of my friends referred to our house as a retreat. She was like, when you go there, you can just like relax. And she was like, it just feels like so peaceful there. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, especially with our two kids
living here. Thank you, Homeworthy, for touring our home, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.